We're the Coal Guys. I'm George.
And I'm David.
Today we're joined with our friend Stephen Jerdan from Kingfisher Strength in Irmo, South Carolina.
The Coal Guys isn't your average real estate podcast.
Our mission is to give buyers and sellers the power of knowledge through their real estate transactions.
We do this by helping first-time homebuyers realize that there are more expenses that come with owning a home than just the loan.
We also understand there are many times move-up buyers and sellers have forgotten the process because it's been so long since their last real estate transaction.
We make the downsizing easy.
Once you get into the habit of working with us, the process becomes so smooth you won't mind to move.
We are also excited to share with you what all the Midlands has to offer.
What would you say to the people who have little to no experience in the weight room? You want to get them into a position where they're putting their bodies, never mind, we're going to cut this because I didn't know where I was going with that. Putting their body, okay, you get what I'm trying to say? They're trying to
You can leave it all in here,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think what you're saying is you're new to a very foreign environment.
This is what I'm at. There we go. Yeah.
The intimidation factor of a gym.
Yeah.
Very intimidating to somebody.
Yeah.
Definitely. So just talk about the intimidation factor of a gym because I couldn't say that apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we definitely get that a lot. Like I had that conversation so many times. What really helps, and one of the things that we very intentionally and purposefully did, is want to keep this small environment, right? A lot of folks, they walk into kind of a larger space or they walk into a larger class and there's just people, right? And there's equipment and there's just stuff. You may or may not be used to working out. You may or not, you might know nothing about working out, or you might know a little bit, right? Or you might even know a lot. But you're having to kind of tackle all of that on your own, right? You're having to walk through the door on your own. You're having to kind of look at the equipment and just kind of watch other people. And that whole idea of like the whole spotlight effect, right? Like people don't want to be, they've got that intimidation factor of I don't want to be watched while I'm working out. I've got all these people that I don't know that I'm surrounded by, And what we really wanted to do is just kind of cut that off at the knee by having this small and intimate space, and not just the space, but the classes, right? And the focused nature of it. We wanted people to feel comfortable the way that you do at like a dinner table, right? At a dinner table, you just got 5-6 people like sitting around. Everyone starts talking to each other. You really get to know everybody. And what we really wanted to do is kind of keep the space, keep the group, keep the setting really intimate, and give people a resource in myself and Hannah to lean on. Don't feel like you can't ask a question. It's a group of, let's just say one morning it's a group of 5 of us, right? Like, if you ask a question, that's not a big deal, right? Whereas if you got 35 people all around and you got some sidebar conversations and you're trying to raise your hand to ask a question, it's all very intimidating and it can become overwhelming, right, at times. So that's kind of how we kind of approach that. We ask people before joining to come see us and come have that conversation, because what we want to know, we want to learn about them and their fitness journey. We want to know what their experience is, what their goals are. And we want to know a lot about them as people, so that we can kind of take an educated approach. It's not just like going online and clicking a few buttons and just taking a random guess if this environment's going to be best for me, right? We want to learn what environment is best for you so that we can best kind of tackle that, so that you can kind of, reach your peak and you can kind of accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish.
So I want to pick back up a little bit with this community thing, because as a client and a customer, what I've seen, you accomplish here with what you've said of wanting to build a very unintimidating, very client-focused, very respectful environment. I have to say you've done exactly that, because I've seen people walk in here like on their first, morning when they come in here to join the group, and you can see the intimidation and the fear. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Who are these people? Mm-hmm. And now you fast forward like 2 or 3 months, and they walk in here like they're one of us. Yeah. Whether they show up once a week or they show up 2 or 3 weeks, times a week, and just the success that you've had coaching these people up to not be afraid to do what you can do within the group. Mm-hmm. and don't worry about the person standing beside you, because there are mornings I get over there on the treadmill and I'm running, and I know I've got like one of the country's foremost experts in running, like on the ski machine beside me, and he's like watching me run. I'm like, oh God, there's no telling what this guy's like looking at me telling me I'm doing all wrong. But it's a great family that you and Tara and Hannah have developed here. So what does that mean to you? I mean, like, you're exceeding your goals, business wise. You've seen faster growth than you had expected or hoped for. What does that mean to you?
In a word, everything. So it's exactly what we set out to do. We want to change the lives of people, and I know how kind of cliche that sounds, but we've gotten some private notes and had some private conversations with a lot of people in here who have expressed us that we very genuinely, the environment that we've created here and the environment that the members themselves have 100% like created and contributed to here as well has really just changed their entire lives. I mean, we've got one member who she felt pretty isolated because she was new to the Chapin area and just kind of moved here during the pandemic, didn't have a lot of friends, was just in a place to where she just couldn't get out and meet people, works from home, just really was really struggling to kind of become pretty social. And just last week told me that this was the most important thing in her life right now. And that's pretty incredible. We've had people tell us about how they've overcome medical issues. We've had people how they've overcome confidence issues. And we even had somebody tell us that they were just really in like a funk, in a depressive state. And they were just really kind of down on themselves. And this just kind of flipped the script, right? And it just kind of allowed them to kind of recapture themselves, recapture their footing, and kind of take charge of their lives. And that stuff means the world to us. So Tara and I are very, very family focused, and we try very hard to be intentional and purposeful about everything we do, whether it's Kingfisher or whether it's coaching or whether it's our marriage or whether it's anything else, raising the boys, school. We try to stop and pause and take a breath and say, what is our goal? Like, what is our big goal? What is our small goal? What is our goal here? What is our goal for this year? What is our goal for this conversation, right? So we try to have these things, and what's happened is the community here at Kingfisher has really kind of like bought into that, really bought into it, has started sharing with each other, really started networking. I know I was kind of joking with a member just this morning. Like, she started talking to somebody outside of the gym, and kind of nobody in the group knew it, right? Like, and so you've got these friendships that are kind of developing, but it's like I said, it's all in a small and intimate environment. It's not like you're kind of just waving at the person that you've spoken to, but you don't really know their name. Like, no, you really get to know people, and that gives us purpose and intention in life, in our goals, right? It helps us build a really good example for our boys to look at. It helps mine and Tara's marriage, just being 100% sentimental about it, right? Like, Tara and I both get to work out. We get to spend a lot of time talking about the direction of Kingfisher. It's been huge, and so it's really been something that has allowed us to really kind of expand on ourselves, and it just means everything to know that this place and this thing that we helped build and that the members are currently like propping up as well is really very genuinely kind of changing lives here in an area that we are very well connected to and that we're from. I'm a native of the area. It's just very, very important to kind of contribute positively to that.
Do you have any other questions, or?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because one of the things you and I have kind of connected on a level at is, like, rolling in the business, you and I have like found the number 2 person for what we do. Yep. So and not in a sense of being a subordinate, but just a peer that, someone that's much younger that you just, has saddled up and said, I'm here for the ride, let's go, I want to learn. Mm-hmm. So we want to talk about, and I'm just going to call her out because we like to we're going to talk about Drill Sergeant Hannah, third place finisher in the Spartan race. But talk a little bit about, her and what she means to Kingfisher and to you.
Yeah. So Hannah is Hannah, myself, and Tara all we look at this as like a little bit of a triangle where all three of us have contributed equally to the start of Kingfisher, and I very genuinely mean that. So Hannah, she's a freshman at USC, right, an exercise science major, and just through some family connections, I knew of Hannah. We weren't. I'm friends with her mom, and I knew she had this ambition to really work out, right. So we brought Hannah on board. She's got that spark, right? She's got that fire, where she's very genuinely invested, right? And there's not a lot of people in the world that throw themselves entirely at their mission, right? Like just wholesale, like I'm going for it. I'm taking these big steps. Like it's a big risk for Hannah, right? There's not a lot of 18-year-old personal trainers out there, right? Like she took a lot of risks. I mean, we went to a weightlifting seminar where she had to lift for 2 straight days, like just nonstop. And I mean, it was Olympic lifting, something she had never done, and she tackled that, right? She ran right over that hurdle. So that mentorship has given me a lot of purpose with Kingfisher. It's given me a lot of purpose with that professional relationship that Hannah and I have developed. I was very, very lucky to come across a couple of really good mentors early in my Coast Guard career and early in my professional career prior to Kingfisher. People that I still keep in touch with, people that I still talk to regularly. And I was just talking to Hannah's mom, Lisa, a couple weeks ago during Thanksgiving, and I told her, I said, it's become very important to me to pass that along, right? I was lucky enough to find some really solid mentors. It's now my job in this role, right, here at Kingfisher, to kind of pass that torch as well and really develop Hannah, and honestly, she doesn't need that much of a push from me. She really doesn't. She goes. I mean, y'all. I was gonna say you've seen her come in, Drill Sergeant Hannah, right? She comes in, and there is no intimidation. Not anymore. There was to start with, right? But she's jumped in. She's owned it. She comes in. Hey, we're gonna do this, right? Let's jump on board. If you got any questions, just ask me, right? And this was coming from the same person who, right when we opened the doors, right, was struggling whether she needed to call the members, Mr. and Mrs., right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? She's just jumped in. She's gone whole hog, and it's been awesome to just kind of see that development with her. Yeah.
All kidding aside, I have mad respect for Hannah. She's phenomenal. She's amazing. But it's just nice to see another young person with just a passion for what they want to do.
Oh, yeah.
So for those looking to build that relationship with Kingfisher, how can they get into contact with you?
So our Instagram is pretty popular. So that's at Kingfisher Strength, right? And then we've got our website, www.kingfisherstrength.com. And on that website, we've got an email address, elevate@kingfisherstrength.com. And we also have our phone number, 803-260-8514, where you can call, text, and what have you. I mean, we're happy I get inquiries all the time. We have those conversations. We've been very fortunate to be able to onboard a healthy percentage of the people that we've spoken to. And it's just, it's been really successful. So I love to talk to anybody who's interested in whatever form of fitness, right? Whether your goal is like, fat loss, or whether it's muscle building, or whether it's some version of both, whether it's just performance, whether it's mobility, whether it's, kids, youth. Whatever your goal is, right? We love to have those conversations, and we love to kind of introduce you to our space, show you around, and talk about the versatility that we offer, and kind of bring the community that we've been able to build to them, right?
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Stephen.
Yep. So we're the Cola Guys. I'm David.
And I'm George.
If you need any help from us, we are also part of the New Horizons team at Exit Palmetto Real Estate. Feel free to reach out. You can follow us Here on our YouTube channel, just look for @New Horizons Team, or you can find us with this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or you can just Google us and find us on the internet. Until then, Stephen, thank you for having us here at your gym. Love it.